All right, this is going to be an unusual video. I created these flowers, and as I was creating them, I kept thinking, I don't like them. How can I post this? And so I did another set over there. They were very abstract, and I love the ones I did over there. I let these dry, and I went back and I grabbed a gold pen and I just started marking with gold, and I might even go in and add some more. And I really started to love them, and I think that's what it needed. I might do a little bit more. It's still drying, but I think I'm going to go ahead and show you this video because I think I like these now. So I'm going to do a demonstration with the same type of paper that I've used in several of my demos. It's the watercolor paper. I grabbed a skewer and some pipettes. I grabbed different brushes and some acrylic inks. And I initially was just going to do the demo with acrylic inks, but you'll see later on I added in some of that DIY clay paint that I used in the past couple videos. I grabbed even some golden paints, and as I did in the intro, when I was doing them at first, I didn't like them, and I was struggling with them. So there's a whole nother set of very abstract, almost Cy Twombly, a couple of them, paintings that I will still do up in a video and show you. But I'm going to go ahead and show you these. And then at the end is when the clay paint dried. And I just love that clay drying look. They're just beautiful. There's something about it. It's a quality, a very matted quality. But as you can see, I got this little tiny pipette. I'll put that in my Amazon store, but I just grabbed a couple tools that I thought I might use. Those pipettes are great for the stems. I don't know why the sound didn't take on this video, but I'm doing a voiceover, so you'll get the same effect. So off to the side, I just grabbed a bunch of acrylics, inks, and this is the watercolor paper. I don't like this, I've mentioned before, for watercolors, but I like how the quality, how it soaks in to the different types of paint. Acrylics soak into it, and I like the finish of it. So this is like a 9x12. And at first I was going to show you one with gray, but then I realized that's a piece of palette paper. But I do, in the second set of videos, the Cy Twombly almost looking flowers, do a set of paintings that have the gray background. So I'm just trying to decide. I want to make these still very loose. Just 1 or 2 flowers per page, very abstract, very flowing. And because they are the alcohol inks, and I don't use them in as what they're, right away. I mean, it like, I don't use them for like I'm using them here. I will add them to make a background for an abstract, let things drip. I will use them in addition to my other acrylic paints, but I didn't use them for flowers by themselves. So my style of painting with them is you know, kind of got me stumped a little bit. What I was showing you there is I got that palette ceramic piece off of Etsy. It was her last one. It was another artist that she used that, she said, for years, and you can see it has some staining on it, but I love it. It's pretty, and it gives me enough room to use for as a palette the way I like to use them. So I'm going to do a couple techniques. Some I'm just going to put the acrylic inks down on the paper while it's dry. Others I'm going to put it down in with it's wet, and the rest of it is just kind of playing with it. I'm using the pipette on this one just to draw the petals of a flower. The color is almost like a antelope brown, and I'm deliberately keeping it wet when I actually do the next part, because I want that brown to blend in the ink. Now, the paper's not wet here, so when I put the next color on here, the orange, the blending is the two paints are gonna blend, not necessarily is it blending from moisture on the paper. So I'm opening up the different colors and getting ready, and I'm using primarily oranges and some fluorescent pinks, and I'm just using the paintbrush and I'm letting that brown also get mixed in with my orange on purpose. I'm dipping my brush in, instead of using the Doppler, which those Dopplers don't always work for me, using my brush to dip into the acrylic inks and paint, using as, you know, just painting it on. That one little blob to the side is actually just an additional bud that I created there. So I'm just making the flower a little bit bigger. I'm trying to be loose. I'm trying not to overthink, just trying to be loose. These are not flowers that you necessarily would know what they were called. They may be roses. They could just be about any imaginary flower. I mentioned in one of my past videos, I don't use a flower in front of me. I paint my flowers just from how I'm feeling and like from my memory. Someone said that, Joan Mitchell said that, I think it was Joan Mitchell, which I like that, because I understand that. I'm using the pipette and I'm drawing with a little bit of like a darker green, some stems. I like the thin line that it creates. I'm grabbing a little bit more of maybe a seafoam green and just adding, because stems and leaves are not just one color. So I'm going to let you watch me create here, and we will go from there. And when I get to the part of the video where I switched over to the other style, I'll cut that out and make another video on that, because I went ahead and decided to post this and let you see me create this. And when they dried and I added the gold, they turned out something I really liked. On this one, I decided to start out with the area that I want the flower by just putting down some water, and then I'm going to put the acrylic ink in the spot where the water is and let it blend. I took a moment and let it dry, and I'm just building layers up on the petals. I have no preconceived idea. I'm just playing with the layers of the paint, adding it, and I guess I have one flower going up and one flower going down. At this point, they end up both going up, so I'm just going to let you watch and see where this takes us. About here, I really put the paint on dark. I ended up fixing it, but I realized it was too dark, and I kept going with it because I knew I could fix it later, but you'll see where I let it dry, and for a while there, I'm not quite sure if I made a mistake. So I'm realizing as I'm doing these, because the paint it soaks in, it really does need to dry on the paper before I can go and do the next layer. I think the it's meant to maybe have one layer. However, as an abstract painter, I do layers. So I'm having to let each one of these sit to the side, then I can come back and start a new one. So the other one wasn't finished yet, but I needed to let it sit to the side and start with this one. And this is just one big, beautiful flower. So in this next one, I decided to start with a very abstract looking watery background, almost like the leaves and the stems and everything in the background. So I'm covering the paper with water, and then I'm going to be using some of the greens, some of the maybe darker greens, and some of the areas are going to get a lot more saturated than others. And then, of course, I've got to dry this pretty good. So let's see where this one takes us. So I'm bringing back one by one, and I'm just embellishing them a little bit. And I'm realizing you really have to let some of the layers dry. But I brought in the clay paint. You'll see that over to the side, that DIY clay paint. I'm sorry, my head's in the way. I kind of got a little comfortable there. And I'm just adding some more embellishments, some thicker paint, some colors, just to see where I can take these. I like all the variation colors in the flowers. I'm really enjoying that. And now I'm bringing back the one where I did just the background and adding on top of it. And I'm starting this time with the DIY paint instead of the acrylic ink because I had it there and I thought, why not? So I'm going to just let you watch me play with this, and then we'll do a review, and then you'll see what I did to really embellish them and enjoy them in the end. So at this point, I'm just going in on each one of them and embellishing the petals a little bit more. I'm adding a lot of variation of the color of the petals, which I like. And I just keep going like this back and forth play until I like the way they look. Then I'm going to be doing the background of each one of them. And I think what happens, if you've gotten this far, thank you, but the magic happens when it all dries. And it's a lot to have to do with the paper. It's a very unusual handmade cotton paper. And when the paint settles in, it gets this matted. Then when you add this clay paint, I don't know, it's just something I'm really liking. It's like when I'm touching the papers, they almost feel like they're a piece of leather. It's not paper anymore. It's like leather. It's a beautiful feeling. So I'm really enjoying this. So I'm going to let you watch me just finish this off and turn a little bit of music on. And then the next part will be when a light bulb comes on and I embellish them and I start to really love them. So I wasn't real happy with these. It just needed something. So what I'm doing is I'm going in, and I really like this better. I'm taking this pen. It's a Krylon 18 karat leafing pen. And I'm adding some very loose marks on the flower itself, the petals. And I really like it. And then I'm just going in and adding some more very bright pink to this one. And it's starting to come to life. I'm liking this much, much better. The other thing, when this dries, this clay paint, it dries beautifully. So I'd like to get some gold splatter on here. Let me find some gold paint to do that with. I've got a piece of material here I hand painted, and I don't mind if I get gold on it. So I'm going to get a small brush that roll my I like that. So I like this painting much, much, much better. Let's grab another one, okay? This one's almost dry. I went ahead and added some gold down here. I think I'm gonna add a little bit of gold through here. And I'm going to go ahead and very loosely outline the petal. I'm coming around twice, and I'm not even getting the leaf. I'm even adding some in here. Be careful because it's not dry and I don't want to get my tip too wet. That might be just enough. Let's also go in and yeah, that's just enough. Okay, and here's this one. Again, I want to fix this here where it went up into the flower. Kind of cover that up. It's kind of transparent. So let's let that dry. And I'll get some of the other magenta. This shows as transparent too, so maybe mix with the other. Let's let that sit, but let's take the gold pen this extra defining with this gold pen is like what I feel it needed. I'm holding this very loosely. If you like your flower, this is not a necessary step, but I like this. I like what it's doing here. I'm going to bring in some more gold on this one because I like it. Put a little bit on that green. There. I don't even mind it being that bold. All right, that's that one. And then one more. I think I did 4. And I did not do a background on this, which is okay. I could go in and add a nice background, like a turquoisey background, but I wanted to show you don't always have to. I'm actually kind of outlining petals on this one. Okay, I like that better. So let's add some more gold splatter. And there's that one. So it's a total preference thing. Again, you could add a background to this, but I like the way they turned out. I like the gold. I probably would go in and add a little more gold on this one, but I gotta let that metal dry. And I think the addition of the gold is what I needed to make it feel finished. So I think they're ready to sign. So here are the paintings finished with the gold. I really like them now. I think sometimes you just have to push through, not give up, and keep adding the things that mean something to you. And in this case, adding gold always makes me feel better on my paintings. Adding some scribble words on them really helped me. Adding some splatter paint helped me. So I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you give it a try. And the other ones that I did, I'll put that video together and get that out too, because I think you'll enjoy that one too. But I didn't want to give up on this because I think that they turned out beautiful, in my opinion.